Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So I'll admit that I haven't been super happy under the current DOJ, under Pam Bondi. But I've said in previous videos that I would give credit when credit is due. And it is absolutely due today because the DOJ under Bondi is launching an investigation into the state of California for infringing on Californian Second Amendment rights. They're launching this under the Civil Rights Division, and they are specifically calling out Gavin Newsom. This is something you got to see, so stay tuned. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here because this is a pretty big deal. This is the federal government through the Department of Justice telling California that they are going to be investigated for their Second Amendment infringements. As a matter of fact, the DOJ says they're not going to stop there. While they're going to start with California, they're also going to investigate other states like New York and Illinois that also infringe on their citizens' Second Amendment rights. So late yesterday, I saw a series of tweets from Chad Mizelle. Chad Mizelle is the Chief of Staff for the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi. And in these tweets, he calls out California, Gavin Newsom, and also calls out the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Now, the DOJ and their Civil Rights Division also had a press release that I want to show you. But first, let's go ahead and start off with those tweets. So the thread starts with, today, the Department of Justice announced its first investigation of many, if need be, into whether states and localities, today, Los Angeles County, California, are engaging in a pattern or practice of depriving ordinary law-abiding Americans of their Second Amendment rights. He writes, as Justice Thomas has explained, the Second Amendment warrants the same respect as any other constitutional right. Or as the Supreme Court has said, the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. What a stark difference from the previous administration's DOJ, huh? He continues to say, but many states and localities keep insisting on treating the Second Amendment as a second-class right. California has been a particularly egregious offender. California Governor Gavin Newsom has bragged about having the strictest gun control laws in the country. California Governor Gavin Newsom even called for a 28th Amendment to restrict the Second Amendment rights after recent pro-Second Amendment decisions from the Supreme Court. To make things worse, many California localities appear to be imposing additional burdens beyond those required by state law, including by imposing expensive fees and lengthy wait times for concealed handgun licenses. This must end. Today, the Civil Rights Division announced an investigation into the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department to determine whether it is engaging in a pattern or practice of infringing on Second Amendment rights. Recent litigation suggests that the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department may be doing so. Here's what the federal court said about the lengthy wait times it has imposed on ordinary law-abiding Californians seeking concealed handgun licenses. Given this federal court filing and public reporting that this may be a widespread issue, the Civil Rights Division will be conducting an investigation into the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and is already compiling a list of additional localities in California that may be engaging in similar unconstitutional conduct. Of course, Pam Bondi and I hope the states and localities will voluntarily embrace their duty to protect the Second Amendment rights of their citizens. The Second Amendment is clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The DOJ stands ready to investigate and sue any state or locality who thinks that they are above the law. California is a particularly egregious offender, but to the others out there, we are watching you. Now, I don't know too much about Chad Mizelle, but I can tell you this, that dude gained a new fan in me. Having somebody at the Department of Justice, especially the Chief of Staff of the Department of Justice, speak like that, quoting the Second Amendment, saying that it's not a second-class right, and that California has been treating it like a second-class right, and that it has to end, is refreshing given what we have been through previous administrations. So here's the press release right here about the first investigation of hopefully many investigations into the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. It says the U.S. Department of Justice announces Second Amendment pattern or practice investigation into California's Los Angeles County. This is Thursday, March 27th, 2025. Protecting the Second Amendment rights of ordinary law-abiding Americans is a high priority for this administration. As part of a broader review of restrictive firearms-related laws in California and other states, which tells us that they're looking at other things as well, the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division today announced an investigation into the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department to determine whether it is engaging in a pattern or practice of depriving ordinary law-abiding Californians of their Second Amendment rights. A recent federal court decision found that the law and facts were clearly in favor of two private plaintiffs who challenged the lengthy 8-month delays that the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department had imposed when processing their concealed handgun licenses. And the Civil Rights Division has reason to believe that those two plaintiffs are not the only residents of LA County experiencing similarly long delays that are unduly burdening or effectively denying the Second Amendment rights of the people of Los Angeles. Now, 8 months, that's like what it was a while ago. I've heard that it's up to something like a year or 2 years now, so it's even significantly longer. But they continue on to say the Supreme Court has repeatedly recognized that the Second Amendment is not a second-class right, and over the past 2 decades, the Supreme Court has recognized that the Second Amendment is a fundamental individual constitutional right and has taken multiple opportunities to strengthen the Second Amendment protections for ordinary law-abiding citizens. Some states and localities, however, have resisted this recent pro-Second Amendment case law, and California has been particularly egregious offender. In response to recent Supreme Court case law, California enacted new legislation to further restrict the ability of ordinary law-abiding Californians to keep and bear arms, and many of California's localities appear to be imposing additional burdens beyond those required by California state law, including by subjecting ordinary law-abiding Californians to expensive fees and lengthy wait times associated with applications. This Department of Justice will not stand idly by while states and localities infringe on the Second Amendment rights of ordinary law-abiding Americans, said Attorney General Pam Bondi. The Second Amendment is not a second-class right, and under my watch, the department will actively enforce the Second Amendment just like it actively enforces other fundamental constitutional rights. All right, so cool. I love it. I love everything that he said in his tweets. I love everything that was said in that DOJ press release. Now don't make it hollow. This is your opportunity to actually do something. Instead of just investigating and then we never hear anything ever again, make sure that there's actually some action that is taken post-investigation. So again, this is your opportunity, DOJ, Bondi, Chad. This is your opportunity to show us that it's not just words and that there's action that's going to be backing this up. Because again, if nothing happens here and you say you're launching an investigation and clearly there are infringements at hand, if nothing happens, then again, I'll just completely lose any faith that I might have left. But I wanted to share that with you because I still feel like this is very big news. I hope they investigate other localities. I hope they investigate other infringements in the state of California. And I hope they move on to all of the other states that have similar infringements. There's too many people across this country that are having their states remove one of their fundamental constitutional rights. Rights that were granted by God, just simply enumerated in the Constitution. So again, I wanted to share that with you. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and you guys have a great day.